Alrighty guys, I've had a bunch of questions in the comments of my last video on the AMC APE unit and all the details in the SEC filing that AMC Entertainment did on August 4th in their 8A filing. And I went through that filing in the video. I'm not going to go through that again, but there's some verbatim in there that is called the common stock amendment. Okay, and I read, there's a particular section that I read that details that you have to have a shareholder vote and a majority shareholder vote in order to amend the common stock amendment in order to convert AMC preferred stock or equity units into common stock. Okay, this Form 8K, which they put out on August 4th, has much better or clearer language than even the 8A did. So I'm not going to dig through this entire form. It's 58 pages. I will give you the link to it. I would encourage you to read it. But there are 10 mentions of the common stock amendment in this form. Okay, let me fix my typing. Okay, so I just do Control F, and I can find the common stock amendment, and there are 10 mentions of the common stock amendment. We are going to read every single one of them, and the reason is I'm not wanting to manipulate anything that's in here, or try to twist anything. I'm just going to read what the document says. That's all I'm going to do. By the way, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Trade at your own risk. And let's get started. Okay, so the first mention of the common stock amendment is on page 3. Each AMC preferred equity unit, I'm going to highlight this in blue, and I'll do this for each one. Each AMC preferred equity unit, by virtue of its interest in the underlying preferred stock, is automatically convertible into one share of common stock upon the effectiveness of the common stock amendment as defined below, subject to any adjustments described in the certificate of designations. Upon effectiveness of the common stock amendment, each share of preferred stock will convert into 100 shares of common stock, and each AMC preferred equity unit in turn will represent an interest in one share of common stock, and such shares of common stock will be distributed upon conversion to holders of the AMC preferred equity units on a one-to-one basis, subject to the terms described in the deposit agreement and any adjustments described in their certificate of designations. Each AMC preferred equity unit participates in any dividends on a as converted basis, votes together with common stock on certain matters, including the common stock amendment, represents the liquidation value of whatever. The next mention should be right down here. To provide for the authorization of a sufficient number of authorized and unissued and unreserved shares of the common stock into which the preferred stock, by virtue of such conversion of AMC preferred equity units, can convert in full, the company may seek to obtain the requisite stockholder approval at such time or times as the board of directors in its sole discretion shall determine of an amendment to its certificate of incorporation to increase the number of authorized shares. As the company's board of directors may determine in its sole discretion the common stock amendment under Delaware law, the affirmative vote of holders of at least a majority in voting power of the company's outstanding capital stock will be required for stockholder approval of the common stock amendment. The holders of AMC preferred equity units will be entitled to vote on the common stock amendment. All right, the next, we're just going to go down the list here. The next mention is page 4. We'll read it. Once listed on the New York Stock Exchange, the AMC Preferred Equity Units will be a new issue of securities with no established trading market. It may be subject to wide fluctuations in trading price, trading volume, including in response to numerous factors. many of which are beyond the company's control, such as trading dynamics unrelated to the company's underlying business. Further, because each AMC Preferred Equity Unit initially represents the right to ultimately receive one share of common stock upon the effectiveness of the common stock amendment and is otherwise designed to bear equivalent economic and voting rights as the common stock, if a trading market develops in the AMC Preferred Equity Units, the market price of the AMC Preferred Equity Units may be correlated with the market price of the shares of common stock. The market prices and trading volume of the shares of common stock have recently experienced and may continue to experience extreme volatility, which we believe has been widely publicized, and with shares with respect to which we refer investors to our public filings. An investment in AMC Preferred Equity Units is expected to involve the same risk, including those associated with extreme volatility, as an investment in common stock. The company expects that the AMC Preferred Equity Units will serve as a currency to raise additional capital to strengthen its balance sheet. Any dilution caused by the future sales of AMC Preferred Equity Units could have adversely affected the market price of AMC Preferred Equity Units and common stock. All right, let's keep going. Okay, this was probably the clearest terminology that I read in this entire document. Okay, let's just I'll just start right here. And again, please read the document. If you have any questions, they're in here. I feel like these documents probably spell out everything. Like, it's very clear language. I'm not a professional. This is just something that I was able to read and understand and then read aloud to you guys. So the company has applied to list its AMC Preferred Equity Units on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol APE starting August 22nd. And each AMC Preferred Equity Unit is designed to have the same economic and voting rights as one share of common stock. The AMC Preferred Equity Units can convert into common stock, but only if the company proposes and investors vote to approve an increase in the number of authorized shares of common stock in an amount at least sufficient to permit the conversion of the AMC Preferred Equity Units into common stock. Basically, because of the conversion ratio of preferred stock to common stock, or AMC APE Preferred Equity Unit into common stock, they will have to, you can't convert in odd blocks into common stock. So they will have to issue a certain number of common stock relative to the number, or proportionate to the number of preferred equity units that were converted. That's the way I understand that. But that is the, to me, this is super plain, but only if the company proposes and investors vote to approve an increase in the number of authorized shares of common stock. Again, I hope that answers any questions. Everybody's saying that the board can just do it at any time, whenever. There is language in here about doing that with APE. Okay, you can find that all in these documents about APE, issuing, diluting APE, issuing new shares to APE at any time. This is the verbatim for converting them from APE into AMC common stock. Okay. Let's continue. Okay, if the common stock amendment is adopted by shareholders, each AMC Preferred Equity Unit will convert into one share of common stock, and such common stock will be distributed upon conversion to holders of the AMC Preferred Equity Units on a one-to-one basis. It's going down here. Okay, that was the last. last one. Okay, let's just read this. There's been some other questions about when do I get my equity units? How do I sell? I'm just going to read it. It spells it out here. This is page 53 of this document. I will list that in the description. The record date for the AMC Preferred Equity Unit dividend is the close of business on August 15th, 2022. However, the AMC Preferred Equity Unit dividend is expected to be paid as the close of business on August 19th, 2022. The NYSE has established August 22nd, 2022 as the ex-dividend date. If an investor sells our common stock before the ex-dividend date of August 22nd, 2022, that investor will not be entitled to the AMC Preferred Equity Unit dividend on the shares that are sold. Alternatively, if investors buy our common stock before the ex-dividend date of August 22nd, 2022, they will be entitled to receive the AMC Preferred Equity Unit dividend on those shares purchased. Investors who trade during this period should consult with their broker. Trading of the AMC Preferred Equity Units will commence on August 22nd, 2022, the ex-dividend date, and at that time, AMC shares will no longer be entitled to receive the AMC Preferred Equity Unit dividend. Investors should note that on the ex-dividend date, August 22nd, 2022, the price of AMC common stock is likely to decline and reflect the fact that the shares purchased on or after such date will no longer be entitled to the dividend. If you have any other questions, reach out to Investor Relations. All right, guys, okay, let's read. The issuance of AMC Preferred Equity Units is made possible by the authorization approved by shareholders to issue AMC Preferred Equity in 2013. Each AMC Preferred Equity Unit is a depositary share and represents an interest in 1/100th of a share of a company Series A convertible participating preferred stock. Each share preferred stock is in turn is potentially convertible in 100 shares of common stock. So apparently, I guess the issuance of the equity units is made possible by something they did back in 2013. Guys, if you have any other questions, here's the document. To me, spells it out pretty cleanly, but only if the company proposes and investors vote to approve. This is probably the cleanest term here. This is page 52. Third paragraph. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, I hope this cleans up some of the confusion, and you guys have a good night. Thanks.